Reference has been made to the EU 2020 target of lifting 20 million people out of poverty and social exclusion by 2020. We should recognise reality here. The reality is that instead of approaching that target, we are moving further and further away from it. And it's a direct result of the cuts and attacks that are imposed on working people right across Europe. These austerity policies are forcing millions into poverty and putting many at risk of homelessness. In Greece, in the past 2 years, for example, homelessness has risen by 25%. In Ireland too, services for the homeless have been cut and face outsourcing and privatisation. This means less resources for the most vulnerable in our society, and also the wages and conditions of those providing those services have been attacked. The crazy logic of a system built on profit rather than people's needs is exposed in Ireland, whereby you have 48,000 families on the housing waiting lists, 300 vacant housing units, and yet they are not used, yet they are not taken into public ownership, they are not used to provide homes for people who need it. Instead, you have a reliance on the private sector, and because of that, only 296 out of a target of 1,200 housing units were secured in Ireland over the past year. Instead of more money for the bankers and the bondholders, I call for a massive increase in funding to care for those who find themselves homeless. The basic human right to housing must be made a reality, and policies such as the Housing First approach should be implemented to provide people with homes immediately.